I think we'll just talk about the buffs, like potential buffs. Do we know anything about the buffs? Not really. But I want to talk about like the possible buffs we could get. I still don't believe they're buffing standard units. I don't think they're buffing standard units, but I do believe they're gonna buff Hex and Circle units. Like I think that sounds like a very Hoyo thing to do. Okay, chat. Let's talk about what Mona does for a minute, right? Like let's list the things that Mona does, right? 1, application. 2, damage. 3, buff. 4, taunt. 5, weird CA cons. Right? Like these are the parts of Mona's kit that like you can talk about, right? So let's talk about them. Mona's skill. 1, hydro application. 2, 3. Right? It hits once per second with standard ICD, but the final hit has separate ICD. So you've got 3 applications. Now that doesn't sound like a lot, but the reality is that you can use Mona's skill to vape up to 4 of the 5 vapeable hits in Mawika's C2D combo.
Let me scry. Wrath from the skies.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's still 4 on the N1 CD, but still. You can get up to generally around 4 from this. You used N1, it's not just skill at that point. Yeah, but it doesn't matter because the E hits before the burst anyways. Right now, Mona's application is honestly not that bad. It's like, the speed of it is good, the uptime of it is like, whatever. Right, so it's like medium length, basically. Her damage is a joke. Right? Because her burst motion value is fairly high, but you can't react it. Right? In order to react it, you need to accept that a different ability will not react. And it's never worth it. Mona's purpose on your team is to enable another character to deal more damage, so reacting her burst means that that other character isn't getting the reaction, and that's pretty much always just worse. So the damage is dog shit. Next is the buff, right? You've got a 60 damage percent buff, but this is also something that her constellations work towards, right? Her buff, just in terms of like numbers, is actually pretty good, right? 60 damage percent, and especially with the cons. And honestly, now that we have access to ways of getting cons on characters for the standard characters, just guaranteed in the long term with the selectors, I think it's a lot more relevant. But the fact that the C1 and the C4 do what they do, it's kind of a lot. Like it kind of matters. Just the quantity of the buff is massive. The thing is, the buff doesn't do the same thing for everything because of the way the C1 works, right? Electrocharge damage increase by 15% is nothing, same for Hydro Swirl. But Vaporize and Lunar Charge increase are pretty good. Because 15% EM multiplier on transformative reactions is nothing. But on Vape and Lunar reactions is actually significant. And honestly, like 15 crit rate buff is a lot. Right, like if we take a look at what Sitlali provides in a melt team, Sitlali with the set provides 40 damage percent, 20% shred, and 24% attack from Havoc 90 DDS, right? 40 damage percent on Mawika, right? She's at 46.6 from Goblet, 30 from Serpent Spine, 15 from Bennett C6, 40 from her own buff, 15 from Obsidian Codex. What else we got? Maybe just something like that. Right, so it's about a 16% damage increase. The shred goes from 1.13 to 1.23. Actually, let's remove that for now. The attack percent on Maoika, look at like 900 base. What else we got? We got Power Resonance, Noblesse, Substats, 30% from Ascension passive, and then 350, 1,000, 810. Alright, so if you consolidate the buffs Citlali gives, right, it's not that big. Citlali is increasing your damage by about 33%. If you look at what Mona would do, right, damage would be 60%. There's no shred. You'd still have the attack percent if you wanted it. We would have EM multiplier instead. 15. Your EM multiplier would be 25 divided by 9 times EM, which would be like around 300 divided by 1701 plus 1. We get 15%. Okay? But we'd also have the crit, 30 CV, 98.4, 27.6 times 2, 62.2, 20 times 6.6. $80 from Codex. That's the crit minus 1. That's the crit multiplier. If we add 30 CV, and we consolidate all these buffs, the amount of value that Mona is providing with her buffs is almost double what Citlali gives. Oh yeah, we also have Noblesse, that's true. We need a set bonus. Because we included the Cinder City set bonus for Citlali, so we need to include a set bonus for this as well. Okay. So it's basically double what Mona provides. Or sorry, what Citlali provides in terms of buffs. In exchange for that, obviously, it's vape instead of melt. So in practice, it's less. But the point I'm making is, if it wasn't for the uptime, like, just in terms of quantity, Mona provides a lot. But she's got a bunch of practical problems. One, obviously, the uptime. But two, and something that I think it's probably the most annoying part, is the energy. Unironically, I think that you could, like, basically just straight up fix Mona and make her a pretty decent unit with two fairly small changes. One, Mona's skill generates its particles on the final hit when it explodes. But you're not on her when that happens. Which means she doesn't catch her own particles, which significantly increases her ER requirements. Because her particle generation isn't that good to begin with, that kind of gimps her. If you just made it so that she generated her energy when you cast the skill instead of when it explodes. So right now, it's 0, 3, 0. If you were to play her in a Maoika team, right, you'd have 5 from Maoika, 2 from Bennett, 4 from Yeon-san. Clear particles, you'd have 1 Fav. Yeah, cool. Energy. Cost, ER. Right, and her ER requirements here are fucking 330%. That's cooked as hell, and it just doesn't work. But if you just generated her particles on cast instead of on explosion, her ER requirements will go down to around 280. And this is actually reachable. It's still not ideal. I think in a perfect world, you would change the 3 to 4 particles to a reliable 4 particle as well. And this is honestly pretty chill to reach. Keep in mind, Mona has an ER ascension. She gets 32 ER baseline. With Ascends, it's another 50, so she's starting at 180. 240 is 15 per artifact, which is achievable. So that's the first change I'd make. The second change I'd make is just increase the Omen duration. I don't think the Omen duration needs to be that high, and I don't think the application needs to change either. I think it's fine for Mona to be more focused around short uptime carries. The problem is that it's not just short uptime carries. It's like, you actually just have like 2 seconds of uptime. Because your Omen pops during your setup. Even if you swap from Mona to your carry, Mona's skill pops her Omen, and then you have like 3 seconds of Omen uptime on your carry. I would change this duration from 5 to 9 seconds. And I think just these 2 changes would be enough to like bring Mona back. She still wouldn't be great, but I don't think they're ever going to intend on making a standard character that great. But it'd be a lot easier to work with her.